information with its probe.
The Ministry of Domestic Trade and Cost of Living has launched a nationwide investigation into rice mislabeling. This is after findings revealed that imported white rice is being mixed with local white rice, a move that raises concerns over food safety, consumer trust and economic integrity.
Under Ops Champo, enforcement officers have inspected 308 manufacturing, wholesale and packaging premises, resulting in 99 investigation files being opened. Minister Dato' Armizan Muhammad Ali said 17 rice samples have been sent to the Malaysian Agricultural Research and Development Institute, or MARDI, for analysis. If local rice is found in products labelled as imported, legal action will be taken. MARDI has already revealed that from the 5,000 rice samples it analysed, up to 50% of imported white rice was actually mixed with local rice. Mislabeling rice as imported when it contains local grains is considered a false trade description, a serious offence that could result in penalties under Malaysia's trade laws.
The government is set to allocate 70% of enrollment at public boarding schools to science, technology, engineering and mathematics, or STEM courses. Deputy Prime Minister Dato' Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi says this move is crucial to achieving the country's goal of producing 60,000 engineering graduates to meet growing industry demands.
Zahid says the move will strengthen Malaysia's technical workforce, particularly in the electrical and electronic manufacturing sector, a key export industry. During a visit to University Malaysia Perlis, or UNIMAP, Zahid announced a 1 million ringgit allocation with funds for E&E programs and educational tools. He also revealed UNIMAP's new artificial intelligence faculty, reinforcing Malaysia's push into AI technology. With Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim calling for the expedited implementation of STEM-focused education, this initiative signals a major shift in Malaysia's approach to education and workforce development. However, challenges remain, such as ensuring adequate resources, trained educators, and accessibility for students from diverse backgrounds.
We'll go for a quick break. Stay tuned for more.
Menggaruk kulit kepala disebabkan kelumur, masalahnya lebih mendalam. Gunalah Head & Shoulders menembusi 5 lapisan untuk membasmi kelumur dan kegatalan. Bebas kelumur sehingga 100%. Head & Shoulders diuji secara dermatologi.
Nama dekat dia yang kata dah. Gapa dia hak jada buat. Gapa dia hak jaga buat. Ada restu.
KAHA, Kapla High Council. Sewa dan stream on demand atau sila ke saluran 480.
Uniform Tentera Darat Malaysia TADM bagi peserta program latihan khidmat negara tidak seharusnya menjadi isu hangat.
Jenayah penipuan pelaburan mencatatkan jumlah kerugian tertinggi pada tahun ini setakat 2 Februari lalu.
Kementerian Pendidikan memandang serius isu peningkatan trend penggunaan rokok elektronik.
Lembaga Lebuh Raya Malaysia LLM memperluaskan larangan kenderaan berat memasuki lebuh raya pada waktu puncak di beberapa jajaran terpilih di sekitar Lembah Kelam.
Welcome back. Russian President Vladimir Putin says his country supports a U.S. proposal for a ceasefire in Ukraine in principle. However, he says any trust must address the root causes of the conflict and that crucial details need to be sorted out.
At a news conference, Putin raised a series of questions, including what would happen to Russia's western Kursk region, how the ceasefire would be verified, and how Kiev would utilize the 30-day truce. In response, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky described Putin's response as manipulative and called for more sanctions on Russia to force a deal. US President Donald Trump, meanwhile, welcomed Putin's response, but labeled it as incomplete, as he continues to push for a 30-day pause in fighting. According to Russian officials, Putin was expected to hold talks on a ceasefire with Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, who has flown to the capital. But with Moscow and Washington yet to comment on the issue, it is currently unclear if the meeting took place. The US has also placed more restrictions on Russia's oil, gas and banking sectors.
Top U.S. Senate Democrat Chuck Schumer says he would vote to advance a stopgap funding bill, signaling that his party would provide the votes to avert a government shutdown. Blocking the bill would have required the support of at least 41 of Schumer's Democrats and would have triggered a partial shutdown, which Democrats have long opposed as needless chaos.
Mr. President, I believe it is my job to make the best choice for the country to minimize the harms to the American people. Therefore, I will vote to keep the government open and not shut it down. There is nobody in the world, nobody, who wants to shut the government down more than Donald Trump and more than Elon Musk. We should not give it to them. And make no mistake, Democrats will continue to fight what Donald Trump is doing.
Their wariness of a shutdown was only elevated by Republican President Donald Trump's rapid-fire campaign to unilaterally shutter many federal operations, which Democrats note is already causing disruption.
A California federal judge has ordered 6 U.S. agencies to reinstate thousands of recently hired employees who lost their jobs as part of U.S. President Donald Trump's purge of the federal workforce. The ruling was the most significant blow yet to the effort by Trump and top advisor Elon Musk to drastically shrink the federal bureaucracy.
Government agencies face a Thursday deadline to submit plans for a second wave of mass layoffs and to slash their budgets. The judge's ruling applies to probationary employees at the U.S. Department of Defense, Department of Veterans Affairs, Department of Agriculture, Department of Energy, Department of Interior, and the Treasury Department. The judge said the U.S. Office of Personnel Management, the Human Resources Department for federal agencies, had improperly ordered those agencies to fire workers en masse, even though it lacked the power to do so. Probationary workers typically have less than 1 year of service in their current roles, though some are long-time federal employees. They have fewer job protections than other government workers, but in general can only be fired for performance issues. The judge ordered the agencies to reinstate workers who were fired over the last few weeks, pending the outcome of a lawsuit by unions, non-profit groups, and the state of Washington. He did not order the 16 other agencies named in the lawsuit to reinstate workers, but said he would promptly issue a written decision that could expand on Thursday's ruling. About 25,000 workers across the U.S. government had been fired as of March 5th, according to a Reuters tally, and another 75,000 have taken a buyout. The Trump administration has not released statistics on the firings, and it was not immediately clear how many employees could be affected by Thursday's decision.
Former Philippines President Rodrigo Duterte has made his first appearance at the International Criminal Court (ICC). The 79-year-old faces crimes against humanity charges over his deadly war on drugs. He appeared before judges for a hearing where he was informed of the crimes he was alleged to have committed, as well as his right as a defendant. Duterte is accused of murder over his years-long campaign against drug users and dealers that rights groups say killed tens of thousands of people. He was turned over by the Philippines on Wednesday, becoming the first ever Asian leader to be charged before the International Tribunal. When he landed in The Hague, the former leader took to social media to say he accepted responsibility for his actions. As the planet heats up, youth are set to inherit a world facing extreme weather, biodiversity loss, and an uncertain future. Dr. Jason Horn from WWF Malaysia discusses how to engage the younger generation and transform their concerns into action for the planet.
I think for a start, personally, I feel that youth must feel like they want to be part of a change, part of the actions. And organizations like WWF have been working very closely with a lot of other NGOs and societies out there. We really want to actually engage with youth. Again, I mentioned that we see them as future leaders. We really want the voice to be heard. one approach that we do is to really put together programs that we can actually help nurture the leadership skill, help them build network, and then be confident in what they want to say.
Meanwhile, Chok Chia Swan from Youth United for Earth speaks on striking a balance between idealistic goals and adopting practical solutions in climate activism.
When being labeled idealistic, that is something that I have to carry throughout my kind of journey, especially growing up in a Chinese family where the goal of your life is to have a quote-unquote lucrative career, and that is not something that is conventionally associated with when you work in environment or the climate space. So I have been carrying that label, but I think I am showing them as an example that this is not something that is very far-reached, but I am finding that space to take action. And when we talk about how to strike a balance between idealism and being practical, I think that is ultimately a matter of culture. When we talk about what is practical and what is idealistic, I don't think it's idealistic to demand climate justice and talk about the common but differentiated responsibility from different countries who have contributed differently historically to carbon emission. Hence, the responsibilities have to be nuanced and differentiated.
Catch the full conversation on It's About Youth every Friday at 10:30 p.m. only on Astro AWANI.
That wraps up AWANI tonight. Check out our web portal, keeping you informed on the critical events shaping our world, all in one place at international.astroawani.com. That's all for now. I'm Farhana Sheikh. Thank you for watching and good night.
Ini mungkinlah cabaran